everyone, and welcome to our activity for this week. Of course, this week is our Birds, Bugs, and Animals week, and our first reading this week was called Nesting. So that was kind of what gave me the idea for this week's activity. This week, we are going to be making a bird feeder. There are lots of ways that you can make bird feeders at home using just everyday things that you have. This week we are going to be using an old pop bottle. That is going to be the main structure for our bird feeder. But of course, like I said, there are tons of different ways that you can make bird feeders. So if you don't have a pop bottle at home, of course there are other things that you could do instead of using a pop bottle. So first off, we're going to go through the different supplies that you're going to need to do this activity, and then we'll get right into it. So of course, first of all, you are going to need a old pop bottle. This is just one, again, that was in our recycling bin. The next thing that you are going to need is a pair of scissors. Of course, be careful when using scissors as per usual. And a couple of other things that we're going to need is a hole punch. If you don't happen to have a hole punch, that's totally fine. You'll just have to use your scissors and be a little bit more creative than if you did have a hole punch. You will need some kind of a string or a twine or a ribbon, that kind of thing. And you will need a stick from outdoors if you have one. I actually have some wooden dowels, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that, but of course you can just run outside, go grab a stick that'll be nice and like a thicker stick, and that'll work just fine as well. And last but not least, we're gonna need some bird seed. Now, of course, if you don't have bird seed at home, you can just use some sunflower seeds or other seeds, of course. Just make sure that they're gonna be okay for the birds. That is all we're gonna need for this activity. And on that note, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna go ahead and do is taking our old pop bottle, we are going to cut out 2 holes on the side. You don't want these to be too big. This is where the birds are gonna be getting the food out of. But this is my pop bottle. I'll be making the square about this big, about 1 inch by 1 inch on 2 sides of the bottle. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like after. All right, so that is all done. So as you can hopefully see, there are 2 squares cut out of my pop bottle. They are pretty close to being around the same size and right across from each other. So the next thing that we're gonna do is using our hole punch. We are gonna punch 2 holes right below where those squares are on either side. Now, you have to make sure that these are fairly well lined up because that's where your stick is gonna be going through and that's where the bird's gonna be sitting. So we want them to be pretty even. So again, like I said, you're gonna be just punching a hole right below where that square is on either side, pretty even, okay? So I will go ahead and do that and I'll show you how it looks like after. All right, so that is all done. And again, I'm not sure if you can see this, but on each side there is our square hole and then our hole punch right beneath it. So basically the goal of making these 2 hole punches is to be able to take your stick, or in my case, my wooden dowel, and be able to thread it from one side to the other. There you are, as you can see. It's relatively flat, that's kind of the goal. And this is where our bird is going to be sitting when they eat from our bird feeder, so it's really exciting. So we are almost done. There's only really 2 more things that we need to do. Of course, we need to put the bird seed inside our bottle, and then we need to make something to make it hang up in a tree. So we're gonna make it so that it can hang in a tree first. So that's why we have our string. So all I'm gonna do is just cut a length of string that'll work for the trees that are in my area, and we're gonna tie it in a knot around the top of our pop bottle because there is a little bit of a lip there. So if you tie it around there, it should work just fine. And of course, leaving the string long enough that it can hang up in the tree where the birds can get it. So I'll go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like after. All right, so that is all done. I have gone ahead and taken my string and tied a little bit of a loop with a knot on it underneath the top of my pop bottle, and of course left a length of string so that I can hang this from a tree outside. And now our last step is of course to put in our bird seed. So you want to make sure that the bird seed goes right up until the bottom of the square that you've gone ahead and cut, just to make sure that the birds can actually get to the bird seed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to hang it outside and I will show you the finished product. Okay, see you in a bit. All right, and that is the end of this week's activity. I hope everyone has a really fun time doing this activity. Of course, I hope everyone also checked out this week's reading that has already gone live. We will also have another reading coming on Wednesday. That'll be another really fun reading, but that's it for now. I hope everyone has a great rest of their week, and of course, tune in next week for some more fun readings and an activity. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.